Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is Big Girl Diary. Okay, I got some earth shattering news, but before I get to the earth shattering news, let me first. I like the instrumental. All right, all right, all right. Okay, you're probably wondering the thumbnail. What what WTF did Marilyn Manson do? Well, I'll tell you this much. I didn't see this one coming. I truly did not at all. But I will say this, feminist, you won. You didn't get Johnny Depp, but you got Marilyn Manson. And it's like at least two of them, you got one. It's unfortunate. It truly, truly is unfortunate. Now, when you look at the case of Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel Wood, you're wondering that should have been a slam dunk. It should have. Look, Stevie Wonder could physically see that all that crap that Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore and her jolly wing women were doing, pecking at Marilyn Manson. I mean, how can I say? A thousand cuts before death. Well, that was them. That was them. But the only good saving grace, just one, somebody came to their senses, was Ashley Smith line. She came and said, okay, look, I sued him and I got a conscience and I don't feel right in my skin lying on this man. He did absolutely nothing besides, and truly, he did nothing but except love this woman. That was his only problem. He loved her. And when she left him for her, which didn't last, he's like, look, you go ahead, go on your own merry way, be happy. But however, I'm going to find my happily ever after with Lindsay. And Evan Rachel Wood went bananas. She went bananas. She was the one that jumped over the cuckoo's nest and she reached the other side to wreak havoc. And that's exactly what she did. Now, one would say BGD, but he dropped the case. Yes, he dropped the case. He dropped it. He dropped the lawsuit. I get it. I'm sad that he did it because he should have been fighting because it was his name. I mean, just because she stood there and said, he groomed me. He groomed me. Evan, no, you groomed him. He might have been older than you, but you groomed him. I mean, come on. You were knocking down men since you were young. I mean, come on. She was getting them. Her thing was getting older men. And the fact that and look, I'm not bashing Evan Rachel Woods. No, I'm only restating what she has said. She has always gone after older men ever since she read that book, Lolita. She was wearing those heart-shaped glasses. And in fact, Marilyn Manson did a music video with her in it, which she claimed that he took advantage of her. Now, we all know. Well, if we all don't know, we will know that when you are in a music video in front of everyone and everyone has to be licensed on that freaking stage where they were filming that, I mean, down to the cameraman, down to the actors, everyone has insurance. For her to say, yes, he was my boyfriend, but he took advantage, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, in front of everyone, and no one stopped him. Really? Um, Squeeze me? Really? Evan? I mean, come on. Let's make something more believable. I mean, you sound as convincing as E. Carroll saying that Donald Trump uh, touched her inappropriately in a department store filled with a whole bunch of people. Come on, come on, come on. But she did. So we're not looking at the first person when she was 16. That's number one. That's number one. When she was 16, she starred in a movie with, who was it? Ed Norton? Do we remember him? Do we remember Ed Norton? Did I get that picture? Do we by any chance remember him? Now, they were in a movie together. And she was quite handsy smanzy. Yeah, him. When she was 16, but she that never comes up. It goes from him, boom, 3 years later to Marilyn Manson, and he groomed her. I mean, she invited herself into the marriage that he had with Dita, right? She put herself in there. I'm not saying anything that has not been stated. I'm not saying anything. Everything what I'm saying is proven. Just do a little scratch. And we have to really stop with sisterhood stuff, especially when our sisters are lying. Okay? Are lying. And yes, the truth isn't in her. The truth missed her a long time ago. And her thing is to get back. It's all about how dare you, Marilyn, marry this woman. How dare you? Even though that I went lollygagging off with Ilma, and you're supposed to wait for me until I decide to come back. Yes, until I come back, because the whole world revolves around me, 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 me. Okay? Me, 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 me. But I'm going to leave it right there. Leaving that right there. Let me just calm it down a little bit. But yeah, Marilyn Manson dropped the lawsuit. Now, I get it. I don't agree with it. But then again, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. I'm just an observer. How can I say an outraged observer? He dropped it, and somehow, she was able to win and actually it was partial, the anti-slap. And within that, she was able to make some minor wins, even though the deposition, she was upset. Evan Rachel Wood was upset to sit in a limited deposition to where she was answering questions to where there was more stuff that fell out of the sky. And she's like, oh, you're just sort of just doing on a fishing exhibition. Okay, whatever. You're fishing around trying to find some extra stuff, and which he did. But however, when you're in California and you're in a state to where women don't lie no matter what, Alyssa Milano, believe women no matter what. Believe all women. Like women, whenever women walk on water, better yet, whenever women walk on a white rug, nothing brown is left. Just pure lily white. Just everything. Women don't lie. Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, just look at Johnny Depp. Look at what he was able to prove. And his ex-wife was just, her horns coming out. I mean, and and I'm not trying to bring Johnny Depp into it, but however, they both have similar things. But unfortunately, Marilyn Manson wasn't able to prove it. Unfortunately, even though the proof is there, but it was overlooked, severely overlooked. I mean, completely in the dark. Someone turn off the lights where the evidence was there. Oh, I see nothing wrong. Oh no, she did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Yes, I am a little upset, but all right. Okay, now, okay. Let's get to this real quick. All right, here. Okay, Marilyn Manson drops lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood, will pay legal fees. Now, this is what I was talking about. Now, what he wanted to do was simply, like, okay, I have to pay the legal fees because in California, when you have an anti-slap, right? California has this law to where it's anti-slap. So there, she was challenging the First Amendment rights, her First Amendment rights to say whatever she wants. And Marilyn Manson said, wait a minute, you're over there saying this, that, and the other, and you're destroying my life based on what you're saying, and it's not true. And you're saying I did this. You're saying that I sexually assaulted you, I DV'd you. I mean, I did everything known to man to you, and it's not true. But because we have something called First Amendment rights, but there's something called the disregard of the truth. However, it didn't apply in this case. I don't know why, but Evan's like, okay, I want to do anti-slap because what I said, I believe to be true. Oh my goodness. I believe to be true. I believe to be true. Not me, but her. And the fact that she it's so outrageous. It's so outrageous to see what some women do to men because they don't get their way and they're using their newfound power not to be equal to men, but to overcome and control men. That's what this is all about, control. But I don't want to go down that road right there. But however, she has an FBI letter and she wrote it. Not only did she write it, but it was on the iPad that her girlfriend, Ilma Gore, left at her twin sister's place when she lived in Australia. And you could see, wait a minute, make sure. Okay. And you're able to see how they built the letter, the go-to letter, and they did all the rough drafts and going back and forth the emails. All of that was on the iPad that was broken, that Evan having all that money, she couldn't even buy her girlfriend a new iPad that her son broke. I mean, you're cheap, Evan, but that's just my 2 cents. Wait a minute, I got a question. Yeah, Manson is innocent, most definitely, and most definitely establishes hate that he shares the truth with. Yeah, he is innocent, and the fact that the FBI letter. Did I bring that up? Did I bring that up? Oh goodness, wait a minute. Well, the FBI letter that she wrote and circulated around. She not only circulated it among where is it? She circulated that. Okay, let me bring these two up. She circulated it. See, here, just you can't make this up. Is that it? Let me make this a little bigger. Yeah, to whom it may concern, be advised that Miss Evan Rachel Wood is one of the primary witnesses in a connection with an impending criminal prosecution in Los Angeles involving an international and well-known public figure. I mean, come on. And okay, I did not mean to do that. and and that flew. Now, the judge said I have to be impartial, and I see the letter. I see that there is a what do you call it? An active FBI agent's name, Agent Langer, even though that agent's name was on there, and a telephone number was on there that had no connection with the FBI, but it went to somebody else, which wasn't smart. But however, she got away with it. The the judge said, "Well, I can't determine if she did this or not, even though the FBI letter said I never gave her access or the ability to use my name in anything. She and that's not my signature. She did not have my permission. And there was a person named Ilma Gore that called, or Ashley Gore, that called up a week ago inquiring some other information, but it just so happens that she is in this process, but the judge said I can't establish that she did it, even though all the people around had everything to do with Evan Rachel Wood. And let's take it a step further. She used the same letter to gain full access or full custody of her son in a completely different court, a completely different jurisdiction, heck, a completely different state. But the judge was like, well, that's not enough information. I mean, I need video of her actually doing it. The judge didn't say that, but if you were a fly on the wall, you would say that's exactly what she meant. You can't make this stuff up. So then the judge said, well, I'm going to take this part of the FBI letter and toss it, but I would like to have some idea of her mental capacity. Let's see what's going on upstairs. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, I could look, I have no background in mental health. I have no degree. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any of those degrees at all, but I can physically see that there's something wrong with her. And that letter needs to be in so that this man can say, hey, I didn't do this. She used this in her divorce and in fact cited it, not divorce, but in her child custody case, and cited Jamie Bell that actually said her ex-husband said, look, my ex-wife, I'm going through HE double hockey stick. And all men need, look, we all need to have a holiday. Anyone who dated her should have a holiday saying, OMG, Evan survived Evan Rachel Wood. I mean, okay, that's a bit much, a little bit of melodramatic, but the judge overlooked it. Or shall I say, not overlooked it, but said, okay, I'm looking at the letter and I'm not looking at anything else but just the letter. And because I just see the letter and only the letter, therefore, I cannot make a judgment that Evan Rachel Wood did this. No, I cannot look at the iPad. No, I cannot look at any rough drafts or emails or pictures or and I cannot. When I say I mean not me, but the judge, as if the judge were speaking, cannot take even this into consideration. Their to-do list, I can't take that into consideration as well. I just have to take into consideration just that, even though it was classified as a forgery. That's all I can do. Within all that, Marilyn Manson said, wow, I mean, can a man get justice? Can one man get justice in this country. All right. Okay. Let me go back to the article. I'm sorry. I just went on this a little bit too much. All right. But here. So he pays her legal fees. So here, they sort of go back and forth. All right, the rock icon Marilyn Manson dropped his lawsuit against former fiance Evan Rachel Wood and will pay $327,000 in attorney fees. Manson, whose real name is Brian Warren, sued Westworld actress or actor in 2022 for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress, which that occurred. And the couple dated for 3 years, beginning when she was 19 and when he was 37. Now, I would say this ought to be a caution. This ought to be a cautionary tale. Now, look, guys, I know that you love little cute little shiny things. Shiny things, shiny. Okay, you like that little eye candy, that arm candy. I know you do. But however, look closely on the fine writing on top of the forehead. Beware, you are in big trouble, and you're going to wish you look under the hood before you jumped into the sea. I mean, I'm just saying, look, I get it. I get you want to teach, you want to show. I get it. Instead, you find yourself being taught, you find yourself being shown, and you find yourself being wrecked. Just a thought. And I'm a woman, and I'm saying this. I'm telling the truth that I'm not supposed to tell. But however, I'm not in that club of feminists. No, feminists, you all took it too far. You took it too far, and the backlash is going to be severe. I'm just saying. You just should have been happy with equal rights, but no, you want to control. Well, you're going to control you won't be able to control the downfall. You're all going to hit the ground so hard, it's going to be outrageous. But back to the article. All right, the embattled rock icon Marilyn Manson has dropped his lawsuit against. Okay, I already read that. Manson, whose real name is Brian Warner, sued the Westworld. Okay, I already read that. Intentional 37. All right. Now, the lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court accused Woods of hatching plans to manufacture sexual abuse allegations against Manson and to profit from, among other claims, according to the complaint. Most of the lawsuit was thrown out after the Westworld petition for an anti-slap exemption, the legal maneuver used to strike down frivolous and expensive suits that can silence critics. And Manson was ordered to pay $327,000 in attorney fees. And that right there, I must most definitely agree, because that was expensive, but it simply didn't stop at Evan Rachel Wood. It also extended to her girlfriend, Ilma Gore, or ex-girlfriend Ilma Gore. Now, since Evan Rachel Wood won that motion, that also applied to Evan Rachel Wood. So not only Evan Rachel Wood, he had to pay $327,000, but also her. That right there is like what, $650,000 that he had to pay. That's what, almost $1 million. So yeah, it gets to be a bit expensive. So he's like, look, this right here is outrageous. I can't. I gotta pay these fees. Well, let me go ahead, and is where it gets really sticky. He said, I'll pay a portion. Nah. Evan's like, no. No. I'm going to take the screw and I'm going to screw it even harder. I'm not paying for anything. In fact, you want to pay this and you want to, no, I'm going to scream it to the world. Everybody's going to know that you have to pay my legal fees. That makes me look a bit more, how can I say, innocent. Well, Evan, you're not. There are some of us who see your horns. We see them. Not everybody can because they've been drinking the juice. But I digress. Let's finish this article real quick. All right. Manson had an appeal, but reached out to settle, according to Wood's lawyer. A call for Manson's legal representative has not immediately answered. Manson initially ordered to pay for some of the fees exchanged for the settlement terms of confidentiality and mutual acceptability public statement, according to Wood's attorney. Wood's legal team rejected the proposal. Manson eventually agreed to pay the full settlement without confidentiality. Manson filed a suit against Miss Wood as a Manson filed a suit against Miss Wood as a publicity stunt to try to undermine the credibility of many accusers to revive his faltering career. Oh my, I mean, this is horrible. Okay. But Michael Crump, Wood's attorney, said in a statement, but his attempt to silence and intimidate Miss Wood failed. Okay, let me ask you something. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me see. Is this working? All right. Let me ask you. How successful has men ever been to silence a woman? Please put something in the chat. Has it? Put a thumbs up if you've been successful in silencing a woman, or put a thumbs down if you've been successful in silencing a woman. Please help me out. Do, 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 do. Anyone? Let me see. There has not been any person known to man to shut a woman's mouth up without adding harm. And even within harm, she would still scream it. Nah, no, no, Oh my goodness. Okay, and the crux of the lawsuit revolves around Manson's accusation that Wood and artist Ilma Gore had orchestrated a campaign to cast him as a great justice, and destroy his career. I have to say, that's exactly what they did. And the fact that Ilma Gore was going around town calling him a PDF file for his video that had Paula, what's her name? Paula Weiss in it, saying that she was under the age of 18. Now, keep in mind, Evan Rachel Wood was there. She saw everything. And Paula Weiss at that time was like 21 or 22. He hired her to play the part that she played. And the fact that Evan told Ilma that she was under the age of 17 and she's screaming, he's a PDF file, he's a PDF file. And that wasn't even true. Now, if you go back and look at Paula Weiss's declaration, she said, I was like 19 or 20. And it was a professional shoot. I did my job. He paid me and I went stage left. But by that, Ilma was screaming that out and even having him swatted, meaning having the police come to the house several times to do a wellness check. Police, helicopters all over, and it got so ridiculous that he had to move. Now, spending $1 million on houses, just I'm going to go spend a house here. No, Marilyn Manson, he's rich, not wealthy. There's a big difference. He's rich, doing well, living his life with his wife, and then you have your ex-girlfriend and her fool sidekick girlfriend making your life miserable, swatting you, saying all these things, you're losing, and plus he's an artist, so he had art shows that were coming up, and all of that art galleries wouldn't even touch him with a 10-foot pole with an extended 3 extra feet, still wouldn't touch him because of what they said. But let me go back to the article. Okay, here, Wood's allegation in 2022 that Manson had essentially grape juiced her on a film of Manson's 2007 heart-shaped glasses in the music video. Now, I did a video on that, and we went through it frame by frame, looking for the assault. And those of us, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Looking through it step by step, frame by frame, and I got a strike on it. I'm not happy about it, but I took one for the team. Nothing. You didn't see anything. Now, keep in mind, a whole bunch of people were there. You didn't see it. I didn't see it. And the people that viewed it were like, no, I don't see it. I mean, you would be able to see a struggle. You will be able to see a struggle. You better see something. Okay. All right. The allegations was strenuously denied. Manson's legal team, which eventually filed the complaint, because it wouldn't stop. She wouldn't stop. The Game of Thrones, Esme Bianco, who sued the musician in 2021, alleging sexual assault, sexual battery, car trafficking, which I went through that, and I'll get to that in a second. They settled a lawsuit in 2023 after Bianco and a Los Angeles district attorney, George Garcon, mishandled the case. Okay. All right. He mishandled the case. Okay. Ashley Walters, Manson's former assistant, who sued in alleged sexual misconduct, harassment. The court proceedings are expected to resume in January. I mean, it just goes on. And look, Ashley Walters, I'm sorry, Esme Bianco. Let's talk a little bit about Esme. Because Esme, this is Esme. She may appear to be a delicate little flower, right? No. She has thorns all over her. You touch, you're gonna bleed. Let me stop. No. Now, the fact that when Esme was a model, when she was in England, she went back and forth between England and Thailand to model. Marilyn Manson, I don't know how he came across her information, but had her come and no, he met her in England, I guess, because he was doing an art show over there. And when he met her, she married. She behaved in a manner that she was single. And then when she went with Marilyn, when she went to LA to do work on a music video, because she does what was it called? She's a burlesque dancer. She's a modern courtesan, and she does other things in her bag of skills. That's what we call it, a bag of skills. Now, Keep in mind, she had her husband in England that she never talks about, but she's over in the US because she said that she was H car trafficked, and she used, what was it, the updated version of the 2020 triangle of H car trafficking of minors from El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico into the United States. That's what they used. And she used that as, I was H car trafficked. Without a job application, coming over to the US in LA. And I immediately, I had my own place, but then I moved in with Marilyn Manson to where we had a relationship and I worked for him. And it's not like that I had all these chains on. No, I was able to fly to different places and to work. I was on the Game of Thrones, all this other stuff, right? But she was H car trafficked. Okay. You can't make this up. And she sued him. And the first time they, no, Esme. Then she came back and filed another suit. Now, when they dismissed the suit, they dismissed it without prejudice, which means that she could come 900 times to continuously sue him. Lawsuits are expensive, right? So he just said, look, I can see right now this is going to be a problem. Let me just settle it with no wrongdoing. Take the cash, that's all you want. Take the money and go away. I did nothing to you. The fact that you knew my ex-wife, that's right. Everyone who he met was through his ex-wife, Dita. That's something I really need to investigate because he did Dita dirty. So he did her real dirty. So within that, he paid her off. That wasn't enough, but let me go back to the article. Oh, Ashley Walters. Ashley. Now, she was a photographer. I'm not quite sure because her title keeps on changing. Now, she's the one that got into a car accident with Esme. They were drunk and they were and Ashley was driving his car when she wrecked it. So she's like, well, okay, I wrecked your car and you have insurance. So since you have insurance, just don't put me down as any wrongdoing. I mean, is he supposed to have his insurance go up because you don't know how to put a bottle down and wait until you turn off the car and take a seat and then do that drinking? That's where that comes from. I mean, it's like, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get you back, sucker. I'm going to get you. Let me stop. All right. And in 2023, Manson also settled with an unnamed woman who alleged that he had grape juiced her. And I think I have an idea of who I believe that is, but they come out the woodwork. Now, my thing is this. Let me see. Is that messing up? Okay. All right. That's because I see on my end that it's slowing down. The internet is messing up. But when I look on my other program, it's like recording is great. So I don't know. I'll know with the playback. It will show something. All right. So there, everything. So, okay. So Ashley Walters said that he did all these things to her. And one thing that really stands out in mind that I'm like, okay, Ashley, you went way too far. You took your story and you really tried to sell it by stating in her depositions, not a deposition, but in her declaration, she said that she had to cook meals. and I think it was Thanksgiving that she had to cook the Thanksgiving meal, and she's a photographer. And he said that she screamed that he screamed at her and verbally abused her verbally, and made her feel that she had to cook. Now, Marilyn Manson has chefs. And then she took it even further. She said that someone that was there that worked for him, or either worked for him or knew of him, said that the guy touched her in a manner that he should not have touched her. And she didn't say anything. She didn't go to the police, nothing, but she's saying that that was Marilyn Manson's fault. Well, if that guy did it, why didn't you press charges against him? I mean, press charges. Not for monetary. How about for criminal? I mean, you were perfectly fine with that guy walking around the street. If he did that to you, and I'm just saying allegedly, because she said that's what occurred. That's her accusation. Why didn't she go to the police, make out a police report? But it's okay. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that men don't do anything wrong. They do. I'm saying that this guy right here, Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, he didn't do what they said that he did. Just look at the interviews. Look at the written interviews, look at the interviews that they give, or visual interviews, and then you're going to see, wait a minute, something isn't right. And then when you really look into the bigger stuff, what they did, look at Phoenix Rising. I mean, look, Evan's own family, her brother came out and said that she has a hard time telling the difference between what's real and what isn't. That's a scary, that's a scary place to be in. But it's even harder for someone to even deal with someone that has those issues. So it's like you have no idea when they are in reality and out of reality. You don't you are basically getting a box of chocolates with a whole, you don't know if it has peanuts, you don't know if it has cherries or strawberry, you just don't know what you're getting. And okay, I will say this. I love the fact that Evan did this. She got help. She saw that she needed help. Now, getting psychological help, not many people are like, I'm going to sign up for that. No. People look at it like you are, right, there's a fruitcake, a Fruit Loop. But if you know you need help and you get help, I think that's great. I think it's great. Everybody should at least, well, not everybody, but if you think that you might need some help organizing your life and organizing some stuff, just to get some help, go for it. I'm all for it. But when you're running around and you know you need help, but you just don't want to get help, or if you are in and out and you're not sure which way to go, then that's when you should get help. Somebody should take you and make you get help. But unfortunately, we have the freedom to do what we want, and no matter what we do, let me stop. But yeah, let me see. Was that it? All right. So let me see. Is this the one? Okay, right here. Now I want to go a little bit into. This is what I want to bring up. Evan Rachel Wood's opposition. or response to Marilyn Manson's what is it called? Doggone it, I just saw it. Let me get the name of it. Opposition to ex parte. Now, an ex parte meaning means what is it called? A meeting by yourself, right? An ex parte is a meeting by yourself between you and the judge, right? But it's not like that he snuck and did it. No, he basically put all the information out there. But let me just show you something. Let me just show you this because I found this. I found it quite interesting. All right, here, Evan Rachel Wood, ex parte. This goes back in February 2023. So you could basically see that this right here is the real thing. Okay. Being a lawyer, you got to do a term paper for everything that you do. See, where is it at? Here. Okay, here. Now, let me go back a little bit because I was talking about the slap and the anti-slap, right? The slap is, okay, here. The plaintiff, meaning Marilyn Manson's ex parte application. Wait a minute. Plaintiff? Who's the plaintiff? Get a defender. Okay. Okay, the plaintiff's ex parte application is in bad faith attempt to save his meritless slap claim, meaning that Evan was saying these things about him, and that he's like, okay, I'm going to fight against that, right? Dismissed from the request, leaving to leave the file of the untimely declaration containing probable falsehoods under which the unreliable circumstances. Indeed, the plaintiff filed his lawsuit without a shred of evidence to substantiate the meritless claims of the defendants pressured other women to make false accusations against him. This is why the plaintiff is seeking to reopen the anti-slap record at the 11th hour, more than 3 months after his opposition papers were overdue, 3 months after the court expressly ordered that no other evidence to be admitted. And that was when Ashley Smith's line was saying, no, she pressured me. And she said that if I did not go along with it, I would not get work. She was holding everything over my head because she has more star power than I do. I'm just trying to get into the business. She's established. And that's a real thing. People do that all the time. In case if you don't know, Kevin Hart, he's a big one that does that. Okay. So his request should be denied. This declaration, the declaration in question was purportedly signed by Ashley Smithline, a woman who publicly accused the plaintiff of grape juice and pursued in federal lawsuit against him over a year, alleging claims of sexual assault, sexual battery, and false imprisonment. And when he says false imprisonment, let me show you exactly. Did I bring that up? Okay, wait a minute. Because Ashley Smithline, since they bring her up, I must show, where is it at? Okay, I thought I had wait a minute, I do have it. I'm sorry to be just. Okay, wait a minute. Let me look. I'm trying to find it. One of my followers gave this to me. She doesn't want me saying who she is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say she. Okay, for some reason I don't have it, and I'm going to leave that alone. But back to the. Okay, claims of false imprisonment amongst others. Okay, and here, 10. The plaintiff argues that good cause exists to permit uh, this very belated declaration. The plaintiff needs Ashley Smithline's testimony for the claims to have any chance to survive the defendant's anti-SLAPP motion. The plaintiff contends he will suffer a reputational harm and which it did, if the declaration is not admitted. King said, nonetheless, neither argument constitutes good cause. First, if the plaintiff needed Smithline's testimony to oppose an anti-SLAPP motion, he was obligated to seek it when he moved for discovery under the case. And not all the time do you have all that info right there. Sometimes it comes later. And for Ashley Smithline, that came later. Her come to Jesus moment came later, to where she's like, I can't do this to this man. I have a conscience, and what he's going through and what I'm putting him through and everybody else is putting him through, I can't live like that. I have to be able to close my eyes and go to sleep and wake up with a clear conscience. And when I go to sleep, I don't have a clear conscience. So by her coming late, and even though that she said, I'll go ahead and give you my declaration at the 11th hour, that's when she did it. But back to the thing. So he failed to do so. His lack of diligence precludes a finding of good cause to reopen the evidentiary record. And again, Ashley Smithline, she came at the 11th hour. Now, and I believe that by her coming so late, it really harmed his chances to reopen and add that into the discovery. And I think if she came earlier, then he would have had a better chance. Okay, nor is there evidence that the plaintiff will suffer reputational harm if his application is denied. I mean, well, he did. He lost his record company, dropped him. Goodness, his friends dropped him. He was dropped by a bunch of different art galleries. The dog walking man dropped him. I'm not walking your dog. I mean, it's just outrageous to say there was no harm. But the legal authority that the potential for reputational harm justifies a request relief, it doesn't. Smithline declared Smithline's declaration is already in public record, and the plaintiff's counsel distributed to the press even before it was filed. Unfortunately, the headline that Smithline had recanted her accusations against the plaintiff was unjustly boost plaintiff's reputation. Even if the ex parte is denied, which means him with the judge and not the other side, those headlines will likely to impact the public opinion even after the Smithline declaration is wholly discredited. And let me see the background. So, I mean, that right there was a lot. So here, Smith Wood files her anti-SLAPP motion 10 months ago in April 20th, 2022, to set hearing for the earliest available date, December 13th, 2022. I remember that. California law requires that the anti-slap motion shall be scheduled by the clerk and the court for the hearing not more than 30 days after the service of the motion, unless docket conditions of the court requires a later hearing. During the, what is that called? The CMC, I can't remember the acronym right now, what it means. On July 6th, the court advanced the hearing on Wood's motion to August 18th. Let me see. And advanced the hearing on Gore's anti-slap motion on September 13th. I remember those. I reported on it. July 20th. Okay, and it simply goes on to the different dates and the anti-slap, the slap, and the fight for the hearing to the plaintiff could file motion for discovery. So the thing was that Evan did not want to sit, and I can't find that declaration that states that, but Evan did not want to sit at all for the declaration. I mean, not the declaration, but the deposition. She's like, oh, I don't want to sit for the joint, the limited deposition, because the judge gave him a limited declaration. I'm sorry, oh my goodness, deposition, excuse me, a limited one. So, I mean, he was fighting an uphill battle. And I'm just thinking, is this judge by any chance a feminist? Because it seems like at every turn, her rulings just seem to be a little tainted, in my opinion, as a woman. I mean, you know, I'm looking at where the fairness of it. And I'm just like, I just don't see the fairness. I truly do not. But K Sarah, what will be. Okay, so in December 1st, 2022, the court ordered the parties to meet and to confer to reduce, to reduce the number of evidentiary objections to submit the joint statement on January 19th at 2023 in December. All these dates, but it goes on. And let me see, anything else? Must make the affirmative factual showing and the irreparable harm, which it did. And that right there is not my opinion. It's he lost a lot. Okay. The one I want to show you, I do not see it because I have a bunch of these. Oh man, I have a bunch of these legal papers, the motions, the declarations, and the one I want to show you I cannot find. But having said all that, let me ask you one question. And I put a question up. Let me see if anybody answered it. Let me take a look. Do you believe Marilyn Manson is innocent? I left a question up there. Do you believe Marilyn Manson is innocent? Is he innocent? Now, I would say for me, based on me going through all of the filings, the motions, the declarations, I read all the declarations. I did videos on a lot of them. Go back about 2 years and you'll see it. I did videos on many of them. And do you believe he's innocent? And if you do, why? Okay, but he dropped it. So he just settled it and he's paying her legal fees and now he's out there on tour. But it's great to report that now he's been picked up by another record label and now he's touring with 2 other bands. Now, here's an interesting part. Esme Bianco is complaining that nobody wants to work with her. Esme, let me ask you, who in their right mind is going to hire you as a model? Who's going to hire you to be the bag woman at the local grocery store? I mean, you're one of those people that you don't basically see which way you're going because you're too erratic. You're all over the place. So you went to Canada. You tried to get, what was the name of that group? They're traveling the world, and I can't remember their name right now. But you wanted to model for them to be up there, and they're like, "Thank you, but no, thank you. I don't want you accusing me of anything. The further the furthest you are from me, the better off I am." And a lot of those people are like, they're not coming out and saying it because you'll turn around and sue them. So it's like, thank you, but no thank you. No, we have a model. We have a plus model. Her over there, she's a size 28. She's going to model for us. No, we don't need a size 4. No, you're too many problems. I'm not going to come out and say that, but now she's like, okay, I'm going to sue Marilyn Manson again because I can't get a job. I mean, what? I mean, it's wild. It is wild. It is wild. But that's what happens when you deal with someone. When you deal with someone like her, and she drops her boyfriend because she wants to run around with her, and then go back with him. But since he was like, look, you can do whatever you want, because it seems like no matter what anyone does, you're one of those people that no matter what, you cannot be pleased. You cannot be pleased because she couldn't please her either. So he jumped off the ship and got married and still with his wife. And he's happy. And because he married her, that's why all of this started. All of it started. And the reason why I know that is because when she found out that they were close to their wedding date, or they either got married, I have to go back and look. They either got married or they were getting ready to get married. Evan goes to the police and files a police report against his soon-to-be wife or wife, Lindsay, saying that she's blackmailing her and she has this picture of her. And she wants it back. Well, you know, I thought it was quite interesting, the picture that she was talking about, because I'm like, really, Evan? Really? You're looking at him in a pink outfit, looking like a big Oompa Loompa, and you look like a German military person in the 1940s. I mean, I can't even say because they'll go ahead and take down your whole channel. But on that note, what do you think? Do you think he's innocent? Do you think he's guilty? Do you think that Evan was right all along? What are your thoughts? Please like, subscribe. Oh, and if you really want to jump out the window, please donate. I need all the help I can get. BigGirlDiary, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, everything and all things help. But mostly,